Hey guys, my name is Audrey Whalen. I am a 22-year-old college student at the University of South Carolina, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about a condition that I have called ankylosing spondylitis. So ankylosing spondylitis is a form of spinal arthritis that affects not only the spine but up into the neck as well as other parts of the body. The purpose of this video is to really draw attention to the symptoms, kind of how I experienced its onset, so that people can become more aware of a condition that is affecting millions of people in the United States. So my story with ankylosing spondylitis dates back to early spring of 2016. I was working at a hair salon as a receptionist. I'd be standing for maybe 6 or 7 hours at a time on a pretty hard floor, and I experienced a lot of lower back pain and discomfort. My feet really hurt, which I think is, normal. And so I kind of discounted it as, well, yeah, anyone's going to be in pain after standing for that amount of time, which is to some extent true. But for a while, probably 2 or 3 years really, I kind of counted my symptoms as not really symptoms of a disease, of course, but rather just, okay, you're standing for a long period of time, or you're even sitting for a long period of time and your back kind of hurts. It's normal, right? So I didn't really think much of it. My pain began to worsen and I decided to see a doctor. So I went to urgent care and they said, you've got a lot of inflammation in your sacroiliac joints. They said you have sacroiliitis. It's just general inflammation of your SI joints at the bottom of your spine near your lower back, and do some physical therapy maybe and stretch, and you probably just strained it working out. So nothing to fear, it's probably going to go away either on its own or do some stretching, whatever. Great. So I went to physical therapy for a few weeks and I really noticed no improvement. So after some attempts at physical therapy that weren't very effective, I went to Midlands Orthopedics here in Columbia. They ran some scans, did some MRI, some x-rays, and said, you're pretty much fine. The doctor said, you might have a tinge of arthritis, but it'll probably go away on its own. The doctor gave me some muscle relaxers and said this will probably help a little bit with the pain. Spoiler alert, they didn't help with the pain. A few months of just taking muscle relaxers and over-the-counter anti-inflammatories like ibuprofen or Tylenol, I didn't notice any improvement. In fact, it was worsening, and this was even after stopping my job at the hair salon. I was home in Maryland for the summer, decided to go see a rheumatologist in Washington, D.C. that had treated my father before, and within our first visit, he did a physical examination, asked me a couple questions, and right off the bat, he said, I am 100% positive that you have ankylosing spondylitis. I said, ankle what? Little did I know that it would be a years-long process of trial and error with different anti-inflammatory medications, steroids, biologic therapies, and here we are now, almost 2 years later. We still haven't found the right treatment for me. I'm struggling a lot on a regular basis, and that's why I wanted to make this video to tell you about kind of what I experience, so that if you're experiencing similar symptoms or someone you know is experiencing similar symptoms, you can work to try to get the help that you need. So we tried a lot of different drugs and therapies, none of which really worked. I won't get into the nitty-gritty of that, but basically what I do now is I take an anti-inflammatory prescription medication every single day, twice a day, and I take a steroid, prednisone, every day to also try to fight that inflammation, as well as antacids to decrease the impact on gastrointestinal functions that can be compromised due to the other medications that I'm on, as well as a biologic agent. I just started a new biologic therapy. It's called Taltz, T-A-L-T-Z. It is actually not approved for ankylosing spondylitis, but it just got approved for psoriatic arthritis, and so it works in a way that's similar to other types of arthritis as well as other inflammatory conditions. I'll show you guys kind of how it works. It comes in a box like this. It gets delivered to my pharmacy every couple of months, and I take this medication every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, I inject myself either on my leg or on my stomach with this medication. It takes about 10 seconds. I won't lie, it's pretty painful. And the purpose of this is to try to fight the proteins that cause the inflammation in my body. And this is not a pain relieving agent. It's not like a cortisone shot, if you've heard of that. This is to get to the source of the problem, which are those inflammation-causing proteins. So some of the things that I deal with on a regular basis are incredible stiffness throughout my entire spine into my legs. I have a lot of trouble sleeping. I feel a lot of pain in my chest wall, into my ribs as well. I feel it in my upper back like into my neck. I feel a lot of stiffness throughout my spine, my lower back, into my hips. I take insomnia medication as well that doesn't really work, but that is a huge problem because not only do I have trouble sleeping at night, but also inflammation causes fatigue because your body is constantly trying to decrease that inflammation. So all day you're working overtime, so to say, to try to fight that inflammation. It's not really working, and so you're tired throughout the day because of the amount of work that your body is doing. In addition to not getting the sleep that you need, it can be really difficult to focus. I am in pain almost 24/7. It's really rare that I wake up in no pain. That's happened maybe 3 or 4 times in the last 2.5 years since my diagnosis. It's really, really hard going to bed at night being in pain, knowing that you'll wake up in a couple hours also in pain. This disease has definitely increased the prevalence of my depression in my everyday life. I struggle a lot with hopelessness. I struggle a lot with wondering if it'll ever get better. There is not currently a cure for ankylosing spondylitis. So, as depressing as that can be, what has helped me is knowing that there are organizations like the Spondylitis Association of America that are constantly working to educate people and raise awareness on this condition, as well as fundraise and work toward finding a cure. I already have a really, really hard time standing or sitting for long periods of time, and I've experienced this in the workplace on several different occasions, feeling limited by what I can and can't do. So the typical age onset of ankylosing spondylitis is ages 17 to 45, which is a very wide range of years, but a big reason for this is because no one knows what it is. I'm fortunate that probably a year or two after my initial symptoms, I was able to get a diagnosis, and even though it's been a trial and error period since then of finding the right medications and therapies that work for me, I still have that peace of mind of knowing that my condition and the way that I feel every day is valid. It has a name, and there are people and organizations that are working to fight it and to make conditions better for me. There's a lot of pain and additional suffering and mental distress that can come with experiencing a condition or a pain every single day and not having a name for it and having no idea what it is or what's causing it. So what I encourage you to do after watching this video is to maybe read up a little bit more on the symptoms of ankylosing spondylitis and other forms of spondyloarthritis, and kind of check yourself and the people that you love to see if your symptoms align with the symptoms of AS. So the reason I wanted to make this video in the first place is not only to share my own story with AS, but also to kind of raise awareness about a disease that is really affecting so many people. And if you're experiencing symptoms similar to those of ankylosing spondylitis, or if someone you know is, I really encourage you to seek help, see a rheumatologist, talk to your doctor about it, and get the help that you need, because even though there isn't a cure, there are definitely treatments available that have been incredibly successful for other people. I encourage you to never give up hope. Cantley encourages you to never give up hope. Thanks so much for watching, and please, 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 please consider donating to the Spondylitis Association of America in honor of my 22nd birthday on January 26th. Thanks so much! Happy New Year!
Did you cry?
What was that?
My shoe.